I am pretty sure we've had some serious audio issues this evening, and I am waiting for the audio to catch up. Thank you for being here. That is the story of live. I do not get to hide behind DaVinci Resolve, do I? We had, oh my goodness. I'm going to double check audio live here. Hold on. Pretty sure. Oh, we're golden. Life is good. Okay. Oh, that is live. So, if you want to know what happened, we did a live directly to Instagram, but I have to use the iPad because I broke my phone. So I switched all my audio over to the iPad. And then when I switched it back, something didn't hook up right. And so I went live. You guys saw that. And then everything fell apart. So here we are, week 8. It's actually week 8. And we are into the Momentum Challenge. Super excited about that. Let me pull up comments here. And thank you for joining us. Thank you for being a part. We want to have a Momentum Challenge. We want to have a place where we can pull back on the bad momentum, pull back on the momentum we don't want, and we want to build some really cool little tickers, some little red flags in our head as we go into a Momentum Challenge. And I think if you stay through the end and you read show notes, which will go on the website after this, you're going to have a foundation for changing momentum. And why do we want to change momentum? Why would you want to change momentum? Because here's the ticker number 1. This is one of the most important ones, not the most important, but what got us here can't get us over there. And all of us have things in our lives that got us here, but they can't get us there. And you might be catching what I'm saying, you might not. Put it in the comments if you're catching on what I'm saying. But the person that got James here, I kind of need to get out of the taxi, close the door, and say, thanks, buddy, I appreciate it, but I'm going to ride with him for a while. We got a new destination. That's what building momentum is about. And on top of that, it's about finding an authenticness that helps us overcome self-esteem, helps us overcome motivation, helps us overcome a lot of things. So looking forward to this dialogue tonight. Pull up comments, pull up chat here. Say hello if you're here, say hello. And as we're going through, put it in the comments because this is action night. I'm not sitting, I'm standing because I gotta move. Like, this is good stuff. This is good stuff. So the 5 things that we're gonna cover tonight are 5 main points, and a lot of these are distilled from 5 books. I'm gonna tell you, all these notes are out of 5 books. I distilled them down into 5 days, quick tips, quick things, actionable. So get a notebook and write it down, all right? Number 1, we're gonna make it obvious. We are gonna start with a clear, specific trigger for our desired habits. Number 2, we are gonna make it attractive. We're gonna make it pretty. Number 3, we're gonna make it easy. Number 4, we're gonna make it satisfying. A little bit of satisfying, a little bit of accountability in there. And number 5, we are going to stack our habits and continue with the social accountability. So here we go. Day 1, we want to set clear goals. We want to start by identifying 1 or 2 specific and achievable goals that you want to work on during a challenge, during a momentum challenge. So why do you need a momentum challenge? We all need a momentum challenge. All of us have momentum in things we don't necessarily want. So if you have relationships, if you know any other person on this planet, momentum is important for you. If you have relationships with any of those other individuals and humans on this planet, momentum's for you. If you work with any other humans or individuals on this planet, momentum is for you. If there is a person in the mirror when you look in it, momentum is an important thing for you. Marriages, places we work, places we volunteer, relationships, our self-esteem, our personal self-value, all wrapped up into momentum. And so we all have momentum. That's what I said, when we get out of the car, the person that got us here, there are momentums that all of us have built up in our lives. Not all those momentums are good. Some of them are good. This process, the building momentum process, is about slowing those down, the ones we don't want, the ones that got us here, and kicking it up and building momentum for the things that are going to get us over there. This is really important. Step 1, achievable goals. Now, I'm going to kind of rephrase this a little bit, and it comes from the podcast we did this week from my good friend Laura. We want to have step 1 be dreams. Okay, and I love her analogy on this, so I'm going to give her credit. Laura from the Hostetler from the podcast. You'll see that soon come up on the YouTube channel. We want to have our dreams as step 1. We want to identify our 1 or 2 specific dreams, goals, kind of not goals, dreams. Got to retrain my brain. This is really important. We want them emotionally connected. Okay, and here's what that means. If you have some bad habits in eating, or maybe you have some bad like workout habits, or maybe bad reaction habits, or something like that, what we want to do in step 1 is we want to say what my life would look like if I change those things. So I don't want to say I want to lose weight. James does not want to lose weight. Of course I want to lose weight. But what I really want is I want to be able to go run with my middle son, Jacob, who's in cross country. So what would it feel like to be able to go running with Jacob? That'd be huge. I'd love to go do that. The kid's like full of energy, kind of reminds me of his old man. And I'd love to be able to go engage with him at that level, at that activity level, that intensity. I miss that intensity. And so I'm not saying I want to lose weight. Losing weight is a part of that, but I want to attach, okay, I want to attach what it is on the outcome side that I am emotionally connected to. You have to emotionally connect it. And I think this is why the dream board is coming into this. Now, you've probably heard dream board. Just throw it out of your brain. If you've heard it before, ignore it. Ignore anything you've heard up until now. Now's what's important. Then doesn't matter. And here's why. We can't, it's the reason it's a dream board, and I think it's a good application here, is because we can't always envision ourselves in that role. Like how I feel, like just how I feel today, the fitness I have today, the eating habits I have today, the sleep habits I have today, the work habits I have today. I don't feel like James today is that guy that's running 5Ks in 20 minutes with his son in the spring. Okay, that's legit, right? That would be a legit thing. So it's a little dream boardish because I'm attached emotionally to how that's going to make me feel when I accomplish it, but it isn't necessarily how I feel today. Now, can I do it? Absolutely. Am I going to do it? Absolutely. Because why? I've attached that emotional connection. So here's our quote for day 1. Tony Robbins, setting goals is the first step in turning the invisible into the visible. That's a great quote. We want to turn the invisible into the visible. So what's invisible is James running 20-minute 5Ks again. That's invisible, okay? But I want to turn it into visible, and that's going to lead us into day 2. So set 1, set clear dreams, okay, or emotional goals, things that you don't feel like they're quite possible, but they're the emotional hook, almost like a sales hook. In fact, that's a great way to do it. You're going to give yourself a little sales hook on why you want to do this work to get to that. What does it feel like? If you started eating healthy, what would that feel like? If you started investing in your business, what would that feel like? If you started volunteering, what would that feel like? What would that look like? How would that change self-perception, self-value? These are really, really important things. So get out your paper and say, okay, I've overcome this. I've overcome a family thing. I've overcome some of this stuff. And sometimes, I guess, even for those of you that are overcomers, those of you that have come through things, sometimes when we fight through things, I got your back, I get it. Sometimes when we fight through things, we kind of come out of that like full volume. We're like, raw, right? Like when football players come to the paper right before the game, that's a little bit of the volume, let's be honest, that fighters have, survivors have. So maybe one of your goals is like, okay, how do I shut the afterburners off, tip up the flaps, and bring this puppy in for a landing so we can all get off and enjoy the scenery on the other side? Because we can't just go through life on full afterburner, right? So I hope you can see that momentum is such a big study, a self-study. And it comes after alter ego, that comes after perfectionism. I hope you guys are kind of connecting those. So if you're going, hey, I really don't think momentum fits, maybe go back and listen to last week's on alter ego and dive into that a little bit and go and really understand and think about and come to a conclusion of what got me here isn't going to get me there. And these are the kind of the alter egos that I've held on to, the ones I want to break so that I can move forward into that new one. So this is such, I think it's beautiful. I think it's kind. I think building our lives and our momentum for our lives, the trajectory of our lives into a place where we can have more empathy, we can have more compassion for others, I think is beautiful. The work you're doing now for that invisible kind of outcome, because it doesn't feel like it's possible, I think that's beautiful. So we're going to dive is on day one, we're in the 7 habits, Stephen Covey. Okay. We're on habit 2. So we're going to dive into there. Begin with an end in mind. Emphasize the importance of setting clear and well-defined personal and professional goals. So if you're coming into this and you go, hey, maybe I don't have any baggage, but I do have some short-term, long-term goals, objectives for my business, maybe for something you're working on. It's kind of endless. Your marriage, finances, maybe it's a ministry project. I mean, it's pretty open, right? I mean, this is kind of everything in life should be long-term, right? We should always be thinking long-term. Setting goals should start with envisioning what you want to achieve in the long run. Consider both personal, professional aspects of your life. Personal aspects of your life will always impact professional. Professional rarely go backwards into your personal life. I learned that the hard way. I'm just being honest. There was a day Kara met me at the door and said, Project Manager James is not welcome in the house. So shut the door, make a decision, shut the door, right? Professional rarely comes backwards. So we've really got to attack and challenge the personal aspects of our lives. Covey, the author of the book, encourages readers to focus on principles and values when setting goals, ensuring they align with core beliefs. Okay, so you've followed along with me the last 2 weeks. We started with perfectionism. Values were a part of that. Alter ego. Values are a part of that. Values in setting goals. So let's use me as an example, and I want to run with Jacob in the spring, right? There's values attached to that. Personal values of spending time with my son that are attached to that goal. And I need to make sure that it aligns with core beliefs. I want to be healthy. I want to be around for my kids, etc. So if it's professional, make sure those core beliefs are in alignment. That will set those will make cultural decisions for your business. Those will make ethical decisions for your business. Those will make quality impacts on your business, right? All of those things are, in fact, connected to our values, how a culture is built, how a culture is sustained, how the trajectory of a culture is set in motion, all come from how we interact our beliefs with our goals. So the book highlights the idea of goals should be proactive, meaning they are based on personal values, not simply reactions to external pressure or expectation. Authenticity all the way through this, all the way through alter ego, all the way through till now. So the author Covey discusses the concept of roles and suggests that defining your roles in life can help you set more meaningful and balanced goals. Goals should be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. So SMART goals to increase the likelihood of success. Maybe you've heard of SMART goals, maybe you haven't. Again, outline for this will be on the website when we're done tomorrow. Regularly review and revise your goals to stay aligned with evolving values and circumstances. So step 1, what would you like to accomplish? But what you're going to accomplish? How do you want to feel about yourself after you accomplish what you want to accomplish? So we're making that emotional hook into what we want to do, what we want to achieve. That's just great stuff. So keep an eye on the comments down there. Throw a hand up, say me too. Make sure you throw something in the comments. Audio should be better. Sorry about the rough start. That was a bummer. Day 2, create a daily routine. Now, I'm sorry. I know there are a lot of us out there that at one point in time think, don't need a routine. I've got it all up here. I'm good. We need daily routine. Daily routine, I want you to think about daily routine as a way of validating the invisible that you're working toward. Design your routine. Establish a daily schedule that supports goals, allocates dedicated time for activities related to your goals, such as exercise, learning, or work. Be realistic about time that you can commit each day. Okay, these are specific, crystal clear activities that go along with reaching the invisible. So these are like goals. Okay, so we had dreams and now we have goals because these are specifics that we're doing and working towards. So the dream will stay the same, but the goals will change as it progresses. So my goal is to do a couch to 5K, get through those. Well, that doesn't get me to actually running a full 5K at the speed that Jacob's running, right? So my goals will change. Dream, the emotional hook, will stay the same. Daily routine, your net worth. This is our quote for day 2. Your net worth to the world is usually determined by what remains after your bad habits are subtracted from your good ones. Benjamin Franklin, bringing the fire tonight. Not sure I really actually appreciate that, Ben. I'm not sure I appreciate that at all. I'll be honest. Not sure I appreciate that, but it is true. Net worth to the world is usually determined by what remains after your bad habits are subtracted from your good ones. Day 2, daily routines. Atomic Habits, that's the book this is out of, delves into the science of habit formation and offers practical advice on how to build a daily routine. So we're going to be in the first law today, make it obvious. Okay, why do we need to make it obvious? Clear, concise, habit building objectives. What is one of the things we say at the Belief Hero? Confusion confiscates the prize. If it's confusing, it confiscates the prize. If it's confusing for your customer, what does it confiscate? The prize. If it's confusing to you, what does it confiscate? The prize. When it's people trying to help you, people trying to help you get to your goal, your team, anyone in your life that is helping you, if it's confusing, what does it do? It confiscates the prize. If it is complicated, if you're clouding the emotional hook of your goal, you will not do the work to get it done because it isn't obvious enough. It isn't, you won't be resolute in your mind. So we want to start creating cues or triggers that signal the beginning of a habit. I go to the store, I buy healthy food instead of unhealthy food. Those tick off the habits, right? Maybe you got to throw out food so you don't eat the food, refill the fridge. Habits are often tied to specific contexts, locations. So we want to optimize our environment to make habit formation easier. So this is all on day 2. This is great stuff. Make it obvious and then surround yourself with those options. Finances. Maybe you got to put all the credit cards in the cupboard. Marriage. Maybe you got to have like a 5-minute cool off before you say stuff. You have to surround yourself with an environment that gives you that output. Like you literally have to surround yourself. If I don't want to drink coffee, I got to get rid of the coffee pot. I got to create a habit that is sustainable in my environment. So my environment is just going to change to fit my habit that I'm trying to build. So that he talks about in this book, the 2-minute rule suggests starting with a habit that takes less than 2 minutes to do. This makes it easy to begin and build momentum. So what is a habit that you could start that takes less than 2 minutes to do that would put you on your goal? This is great for your notes. If you're taking notes, write this down. What is something that takes 2 minutes to do? If you're following along, put it in the chat. What's something I could do? It takes less than 2 minutes to do to help me build momentum for running in the spring with my son. Got it? Meal prep. That doesn't take very long. It really, really doesn't. It doesn't really take that long. Putting my running shoes out so I see them. Putting my workout clothes out. Moving my workout clothes to the top of my dresser so I don't forget about them. Putting a reminder in my phone to get up. Putting 2 minutes. What else could I do in 2 minutes? What else could I do in 2 minutes? A lot of things. This makes it easy to build momentum. Habit stacking involves attaching a new habit to an existing one, making it more likely it'll stick. So as you go and you build new habits, you want to stick those habits together and reward yourself with accomplishing that goal. Great stuff. Habits are more likely to stick if they're associated with positive outcomes. You can make habits more attractive by focusing on the benefits they provide and connecting them with the long-term goals. So it's the second book in the row that is talking about what? The emotional hook. All right. Chapter 3rd law, next chapter in the book for day 2. Make it easy. Simplify your habits by reducing friction. This is a big deal. We want to create habits in day 2 that are small. Small is less friction. Small is less weight. Weight is friction, okay? We want to have small, frictionless habit changes. Maybe you watch too much TV. Cancel Netflix. Not a lot of friction there because then you don't have a choice. If you binge Netflix, take it off everything but one iPad and then lock it in a cupboard and tell your spouse or your friend or whoever, roommate, whatever it might be, hey, I can't only have that on Fridays because I'm binging too much Netflix and I need to watch all this training over here on YouTube, or training somewhere else, or I want to watch some other channels and see, I want to investigate my craft, I want to do some skill ups, I want to build up to something. That's robbing me of the joy of my invisible goal at the end, right? That's a big deal. Lock it away. Small. All right, and lastly, for day 2, we want to make our habits satisfying. Associate them with something positive. Use a habit tracker or journal to record your progress and celebrate your successes. Social accountability, sharing your progress with others can help add an element of satisfaction to the habit formation. Man, people want to see you working towards your goal. They don't care where you're at. Nobody cares where you're at in your journey. If they care about where you're at in your journey, they're trolls. Just ignore them. But there are a lot of people out there that care about you reaching this goal. So share your progress with somebody. Make it real. Let them say yes. Get a little dopamine hit. It's fine. You want to go towards your goal. Day 3, prioritize. Comes from the book Eat Your Frog, Brian Tracy. These are all classic books. Listen, you don't need to read a bunch of books to start momentum. I read the books. I have shorthanded them. That's what this is about. This is enough to get started. If you're super, super stuck, I get it, but you don't need to go out and become a book connoisseur to get momentum. That's going to build the wrong momentum, right? So Eat the Frog. Tracy shares strategies for overcoming procrastination and prioritizing tasks to increase productivity. Our quote for the day 3 is, the key is not to prioritize what's on your schedule, but to prioritize or to schedule your priorities. I love that. Probably could have done a whole show on just that quote. Key is not to prioritize what's on your schedule, but to schedule your priorities. So, what are my priorities if I want to go running? I'm just picking on myself tonight. It's totally fine. But look at your paper. Look at what you've written down. And what are the priorities of that? If it's eating healthy, if it's working out, schedule those activities. Schedule those priorities. I sound like I said priorities with an English accent. So, from the book, Eat That Frog, chapter Set the Table, focus on most valuable tasks, MVTs as he calls them. This is the concept of eating the frog. Refers to tackling your most challenging and important task first thing in the morning on your way. So, livelihood, life, what is it called when you have a life habit? What is it? Life culture? Man, I just lost a word somewhere in my brain. If it's going to bite you in the you-know-what, okay, you should do that first. So, if it's going to bite me in the you-know-what, across the board, that should be the first thing I do, right? That's what he's talking about here. Your most significant impact, that is what you want to prioritize first. Whatever task is going to impact your goal the most, you need to schedule it. That would be going to the gym. That might be studying. That might be skilling up. That might be researching. I don't know what it is. If it's marriage, if it's finances, man, there are a lot of things out there. He goes on to say that the 80-20 rule suggests that 20% of your tasks will yield 80% of your results, and identify focusing on those tasks. So what he is saying is 80% of your results come from only 20% of your tasks. Now, another way of looking at this statistic that has been around forever is that if you write down the top 3 things that you need to get done each day, you will be in the top 90 percentile of top achievers. Did you know that? Just writing down the top 3 most important. So if you make a list based on what will bite you in first, the biggest, the hardest, will have the longest impact in your life. So like not paying your mortgage, right? Because it has long-term impact. It rolls over month to month. If you focus on getting 3 of those done every day. So even if you don't get it done today, it's going to get done tomorrow. If you focus on those things, that alone, that habit of those 3 things will put you in the top 10 percentile for productivity in the world. Can you believe that? That is incredible. So if you have a dream of having a social media channel, if you have a dream of learning a new task, if you want to learn something, you want to do something new, that habit is going to put you in the top 10 percentile. So you're going to be good at it. That's cool. You're going to be good at it. You're going to have results. You're going to have the self-belief increase. You're going to have the skill increase that you need to do something new. Super awesome. So plan your day in advance, okay? And plan out the top 3 things that you need to do each day to make that happen. All right, next. I'm going to skip down here. I think this is really important. Plan your day the evening before. I don't know how many people do this, but make sure you plan your day the before. So if your priority is tomorrow to go to the gym and you're keeping a manual list, which I always think you should keep a manual list. Anybody that tells me they have a list in their head, I just want you to know they're not in the top 10 percentile of productivity. Absolutely. I will bet real cash on that. They're just not. Now, they might be really talented in keeping track of things, but let me tell you, why? Why have all that in your head? Why have clutter in your head when you can write down 3 things and not have to think about it? Let's put it this way. Whatever you put on your list, you don't have to think about. People that keep their lists in their head are sporadic, stressed, all over the place. They're like ping pong balls. People that write their lists are some of the most calm and collected people I know because they declutter their mind. They declutter what they think about. I know that whatever I write down, I don't have to think about. So I have notes in my office and there for a phone call tomorrow. Got to follow up with a client. Did I leave it in my head? No. I wrote it down. I pulled it out of my head, and then my head's clear for this tonight. That is the power of a list. And I know I'm going a little bit off track, but I get a lot of flack for lists. And I am telling you, the person that writes down 3 things is in the top 10 percentile of the world in productivity. Write down 3 things. Try it. Test me. It will work. You will declutter your mind. Don't lose your list. Then you'll be calling me upset. But I'm serious. If you write down those 3 things each day, you will declutter your mind. People that are efficient do this. All right. Well-planned day reduces stress, increases productivity, and then he goes on to talk about the ABC method. Start with A, and we already covered that because we shorthanded it into whatever will bite you in the you-know-what. You do that first, so obviously ABC follows that. They identify key result areas. Which are the areas of work of life that you want to excel at and achieve? That's what you prioritize. Super easy. And you can follow up more on the book later. We're going to skip to the next day. Oh, man. Skip to the next day. Brian Tracy's Eat That Frog. Here we go. Hold on one second here. Day 4. Quote of the day for day 4. I love this. Accountability breeds responsibility. Oh, man. We just did this one on Instagram, and I was excited to do it tonight. Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg. If you haven't read this book and you're stuck on habits, maybe you like smoking habit or something like that, a habitual habit, this book I found to be very, very effective. But you don't need to go read that book to build momentum. Okay, for 99% of all situations, this shorthand is going to cover you for day 4. Accountability plays a significant role in habit change and personal transformation. Public accountability, like our live right now, put it in the chat. I'm taking the challenge. Put it in the chat. I'm going to get started. Put in the chat what your favorite, your emotional hook is. That's your accountability. That's your public accountability. And so I don't know how much we've talked about on the Belief Hero here on YouTube, but I know we've talked about it on Instagram. I know I've talked about it on Facebook. We have 2 words. Do we remember what they are? We have critique and we have challenge. At the Belief Hero, we want to challenge everything because we're working to build our own hero inside of us, right? We're working to bring that hero out. That is the whole transformation of the Belief Hero. That's what it's written about, right? So in order to do that, we have to challenge. We can't hide. But we can't do one thing. What's the other word? Critique. We don't critique everything. We challenge everything. And so accountability is about having people, partners, groups like the Belief Hero community that help us challenge the parts about us that are irresponsible. That's all that is. And we need a little challenge there. We need a little push to break free of the things that we're a little bit irresponsible of. So we want a sense of being watched or cheered on. That can motivate us to adhere to our habits, right? It keeps us in the pocket. Organizational accountability can lead to improved performance and efficiency. That is a proven statistic everywhere. If you have a group that you're working on to change your habits, to build momentum, accountability mechanisms that come from public and social environments help you build that mechanic of efficiency. So public recognition, rewards, meeting accountability goals, reinforce positive habits. We have that at the Belief Hero. This is all something we have at the Belief Hero. If you go to thebeliefhero.teams and you go to the website and you sign up, there is a link to go to Discord. And we have a Discord community that is all about helping people have that accountability in your room, in your place, so that you can get the accountability you need to make those momentum changes. All of this stuff is there so that we can have an accountability area that is cheering, that is challenging, but not critiquing and not watching and not disconnected from the action, but actually helping you go towards the goals. That's why we have Discord. That's why the Belief Hero is around a community, because it takes a tribe to make changes sometimes. It takes time to make changes sometimes. Self-accountability involves setting clear goals, tracking your progress, and holding yourself responsible for habit challenges. But accountability is a key component because it helps hold us to task for the transformation. So that is a great book, Duhigg. Short notes, day 5, reflect and adjust. So day 1, what did we do really quick? What did we do on day 1? We picked an emotional hook. We sold ourselves on the invisible, and we're going to go to the invisible, and we're going to get rid of the person we are today, get rid of the parts that don't fit that outcome, and we're going to start changing. And day 2, what did we do? That's not the dream board, but that's the goal board. Those are the things that are going to change, but they're specific that we're going to start working on to get us in alignment with where we're going. Awesome stuff. And day 3, what do? We keep the tab. We keep the list. We keep a list. And this is what I'm doing. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to eat at this time. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. 3 things each and every day that's going to get you close to your goal. Super easy. Accountability would be great for that. That's why accountability is day 4, right? To help you do those things. I think that getting through day 3 is actually the hurdle. People are more scared of day 4, I think, because of the people component, the vulnerability of it. But I think really believing in and trusting in the list is one of the hardest things. It's easy to dream. Okay, I would like to go to Jacob. I like to go run. I think that's easy. I think, okay, I need to eat healthy. I need to do that. I think the toughest accountability is that list on day 3. We can help you with that. Join us in Discord, become part of the community. We would love to help you with that. We've got some goals for that. We've got some tricks for that, but that's a huge part of it. So now day 4, we make that public declaration and the community helps cheer you along. Day 5, reflect and adjust. What does that mean? It means life happens. At the end of each day, take a few minutes where you reflect about the progress, what went well, and what could have been better. Adjust your routine for the tasks that you're going to do the next day and your reflections at the end of the day that helps you continuously adapt and stay on course. So, what are we talking about? We're talking about life. Oh my gosh. Kids get sick, spouse gets sick, kid decides to play sports, decides to play an instrument. Suddenly there's like 15,000 more events you have to go to on the calendar. New trainings pop up that you want to catch that, that disrupts your lunch hour. Controlling and adjusting for our schedules, I think in 2023, right now, today, if there's anything on here I think the list is the hardest for us to contain. The schedule, the calendar is the biggest hurdle for 2023 because it's the reactionary thing. The schedule is reactionary. I can go like, man, I want to go run with Jacob. I can attach to that. I can do the work to make the invisible visible, and I can come up with some goals for that, like just in my head, little things, right? Getting the clothes, getting the shoes, starting to eat healthy, get my running apps updated, which I did today. I did that. That was my small 2-minute thing. I logged into all my old apps and got all my stuff lined up so I could start doing it. That's easy. Public declaration. I got on YouTube. You all heard it, right? And YouTube's forever, so you know what's going to happen. Not April. I'm going to start getting messages. Hey, did you go running? Did you go running? I think that's easy. It's the reactionary component of day 5 where we're constantly adjusting. I think this can wipe you off the map. I really do. And when we're talking about a building momentum challenge, it isn't just doing it for a week. It's really setting our mind to something over a month or two. We got Christmas coming up. Did you know it is, I don't know, is it like the 15th? It's the 14th of September. 90 days, October puts you at the 15th of December. Puts you into holiday events. Like if you're going to build momentum for weight loss or eating healthy and trying to feel your best for all the holiday events and choirs at church or whatever it might be, office parties, those things, now's the time you want to build momentum on that. Now's the time. But if you looked at the schedule between here and there, it gets psycho up to Christmas, does it not? It gets psycho. Well, reflecting and adjusting by the day is so important, and it is really, really hard to keep encouraging yourself day in and day out. Again, the team dynamic of the community is such a huge part of that. That's something we can help you with. That's something we can dive in with you. Daily motivators, whatever it takes to help you get past that. That is what the community does. Such an important thing. Our mindset, okay? A growth mindset is always focused on self-reflection. A growth mindset, we have to have adaptability. We have to be adaptable to achieve success. But that doesn't mean we're always happy about our daily progress. That doesn't always mean that we're like, man, I just knocked it out of the park every single time. Every time you flip open YouTube and you do a live, doesn't mean you knock it out of the park. Doesn't, like, that's not possible. That's not possible. Everyone can't be your favorite. That's not very challenging, is it? So if you're really building momentum and you're really challenging yourself, you're going to have days where you're like, man, today kind of sucked. That's what the community's for. That's what Belief Heroes for. That's what all these reminders are for. So remember that emotional hook. Remember the little things you can do. If today was terrible and you fell off the map and you have to readjust, remind yourself, hey, this is my emotional hook. These are my little tasks, my goals I'm doing each day. Okay, these are my goals. So I want to get all my running stuff out. I want to get stuff ordered. Winter time's coming. I want to make sure I get my cold pants ordered. I've got winter running gear now. Okay. So those goals, I'm working towards those goals. My daily list. I'm going to drink more water. That's a 2-minute thing. Like literally. I'm doing all the answers for somebody. I'm going to eat better. So I'm going to meal prep in the evening. I got to cook dinner anyway. Jacob's already running, so we've got extra of each day. I can snag some of that, start doing my habit tracker on my food. But it doesn't mean every day is going to feel good. If you go back to that emotional, turning the invisible into visible, and you go back to that, then look at your little goals, then look at your daily checklist, okay? Then look at your accountability. You can correct that on a daily. It's hard to do on your own. If you're going to do it on your own, that's great. Dig in, dig deep. You're going to have these days This is the process you're going to follow. Everyone needs to know how to do this. It's a daily thing. Sometimes it's a midday thing. Some days, I think Tuesday, I had one of those days, it was like an all-day thing. That's normal. But you got to go back to what's the invisible. This is super important. This is the mindset, okay? Growth mindset is the belief that abilities and intelligence can be developed through effort, learning, and perseverance, okay? Intelligence just simply means what? Self-awareness, right? Our self-perspective can be honed and improved and developed through effort, learning, and perseverance. It contrasts with a fixed mindset, which sees abilities as innate, unchangeable. Embracing growth mindset can lead to a greater motivation and resilience. Challenges and setbacks are viewed as opportunities for learning and growth in a growth mindset. Effort is seen as the path to mastery, and setbacks are not seen as failures, but as stepping stones to success. Praising effort and strategies rather than innate talent can encourage a growth mindset in yourself and in others. So cultivate a growth mindset. That involves recognizing and challenging where your mindsets are fixed, thoughts and beliefs that are fixed. Remember, that all ties into what? Perfectionism, alter ego, all of those things are things that give us fixed mindsets. Feedback. You want feedback as valuable input for improvement. When you look at your list, when you look at those things daily, those are amazing and valuable inputs so that you can improve and you can break fixed mindsets and have a growth mindset. Anybody that says I can't lose weight is in a fixed mindset, right? Anybody that has those, I'm terrified of snakes. I don't care what you say. That is a fixed mindset. That is a stuck alter ego that has gotten them affirmations up into a certain point in life, but they are in and of themselves. That is a fixed mindset. I don't eat salads. I hate all salads. That's not true. That's impossible. You just haven't put yourself in a situation to learn to like salads. Why? Because you don't have a down there that right here isn't going to get you to. There are a fixed mindset says whoever got me here was good enough. And if you want to have a growth mindset, if you want to have a change mindset, if you want to have a mindset that says, you know what, I can do this, I can do something new, I can do something I've never done before, I can inspire me, I can inspire somebody else, my story is good enough to get started, my talent's good enough to get started, my why is good enough to get started, then it requires the threshold, the entry point is accepting you have to build a growth mindset. And to have a growth mindset, you've got to challenge everything, not critique. Okay, you might critique the snake thing, but you know what I mean? Like irrational fixed mindsets, you better critique those because you really don't have time to like deal with those forever. But we need to have growth mindset and realize, hey, if I'm going to do anything that requires me pushing myself for achievement in any way, in a healthy way, right? In a healthy way. All of this is in a healthy way. But if I'm going to challenge myself with a growth mindset, I think I better be ready to what? Not have fixed mindsets. The fixed mindset that got you here today isn't going to get you there. A fixed mindset is not going to let you take a motivational challenge, a 5-day motivational challenge, and turn it into something that is going to be long-term motivation. Your fixed mindset will, no matter how big it is, no matter where it's at, will add enough friction that you won't be able to get to your goal. Bottom line, you've got to be willing to pull those puppies up out by the roots, and you got to be willing to move on without question. See, this is why I'm standing tonight, because this is like motivation stuff. Momentum stuff is buried. It is buried in self-value, mindset, and all of those things. And you can say those as buzzwords all you want, but the bottom line is the conversation on growth mindset versus fixed mindset, that can be the difference in changing somebody's life. That is what we're standing up for. So somewhere right now you have a fixed mindset. I don't know where it is. We all have them. I don't even know where mine are at right this minute. But I know I have them. Why? Because I keep adopting growth mindsets. And the more I adopt growth mindsets, the more places I find that I am stuck. So the challenge, I want you to challenge yourself. If you think all this is hoopla, that's great. But challenge yourself with growth mindset. And you'll realize, yeah, I'm kind of stuck over there. If there's an area in your life, you just keep repeating the same mistake, same mistake, same mistake, same mistake, the same outcomes with relationships, the same outcomes with your bad attitude, the same outcomes with turning to alcohol or turning to whatever, those are all fixed mindsets. They're fixed mindsets of justification. If you want a fixed mindset that leads to actionable things that overcomes the selfish side of that in a fixed mindset, then you're going to go to a growth mindset and you're going to, hey, I'm going to learn, I'm going to build relationships, I'm going to set personal goals that benefit my life, that benefit the people around me. That is what your growth mindset is all about in building momentum. At day 5, that's our goal. At day 5, that's where we want to be. We want to spend 12 months building momentum. It happens in 5 days. Pick your goal. Make your emotional hook. That should take a half an hour at the very most. Pick something small and start it. Build little momentum, small friction, right? Little things don't have friction. They just don't. They're easy. All right. So what do you do when all that's over? Well, that's the kind of the bonus content of day 6. I'm going to talk about day 6 here. I'm not talking about day 6 on Instagram. I'm only going to talk about it here, and I'm only going to talk about it in Discord. Day 6 is continuing momentum. And I want you to hear this quote. It's really important. I've been really wound up. I want to simmer down, and I want to settle into this. Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. You know, there's one of my favorite stories about Shaq is when he win a giant trophy. He'd go to bed with his trophy or wherever he kept it, and when he'd wake up, it was gone. His dad never let him be complacent. That is what the first part of this quote says. I'll read it to you again by Churchill. Success is not final. It is not complacent. What else isn't complacent? Fixed mindset. A growth mindset, excuse me. What is complacent? Fixed mindset. Success is not fixed. Okay? Failure is not fatal. Failure is not the end. It is the courage to continue that counts. So I'm going to have a good day, and I'm going to eat perfect. I'm going to get to the gym. I'm going to work out. I'm going to get to my run. And then there's going to be like 3 or 4 days in there somewhere that I'm not. Am I going to die from that? No. Am I not going to be able to achieve my goal and go running with Jacob next year? No, I'm not. That's impossible. We will, if you have a fixed mindset, you will believe all of those lies. Just checking chats really quick. If you identify with any of this, if you have a fixed mindset and you want to break a fixed mindset, put it in the chat. Put your fixed mindset in the chat. Whatever it is, who cares? It's public. Nobody knows anybody on the internet. And if they troll you, I'll just delete it. Because that's not what we're going to do at the Belief here. We're going to challenge. We're not going to be trolls and critique. Power of Grit. That is the book for day 6 and continuing momentum. Grit, the book, is a combination of passion and perseverance, which is essential to achieving long-term goals. You have to fight for long-term goals. Put on your boxing gloves. You're going to have to fight for long-term goals. Getting control of your day and the chaos of your day is something you're going to have to fight for. If your day is constantly out of control, you probably say yes to too many things. Probably goes back to a self-belief thing. Probably goes back to an alter ego thing. You're going to have to fight to change that. So let me read it again. The Power of Grit. It's a great book. That's what day 6 is written around. The Power of Grit. Grit is the combination of passion and perseverance, which is essential to achieving long-term goals. It is passion and perseverance, the emotional hook, and the daily task, which is essential to achieving long-term goals. Passion is not just about interests, right? It's about sustained passion for a specific goal, dream. We change that to dream. Passion for a specific dream or purpose. The emotional connection. When I get to go run with Jacob and I make it through a whole run at his pace, that's going to feel amazing. That is worth doing everything for. Do you see that? Do you see the difference? Perseverance is the ability to keep working towards a goal, even in the face of challenges and setbacks. Grit is a better predictor of success than talent alone. Dig in, dig deep, and change your thinking, change your habits, slow down bad momentum, set a goal, make daily tasks, and build momentum for the things you know you want to build momentum for. That is what the Momentum Challenge is for. That's what the Belief Hero community is for. That is what Discord is for. Okay? Go to the website, beliefhero.team, join. You get a confirmation email. There's a link in your profile on the website. Go back to the website, log in. There's a little giant blue button. It says Discord. Click it. Come to Discord. Join the Momentum Challenge. Get started on it. Okay. Grit is a predictor of success over talent alone. Okay. I don't know how many times I've told my kids this. They're not the smartest. They're smart. I have very smart kids. They're not the most talented. They're very talented kids. But they're not the most in the entire world. Like, very few. I don't even know how they can measure that. Like, really, can they measure the most talented person in the world for everything? Like, it's not a measurable thing, right? Can't really measure if you are technically the smartest person in the world. But I tell them all the time, you can outwork everybody. You can put in the effort to give yourself your best shot. I don't care how talented you are. I don't care how much skills you have. I don't care about all that stuff. But I do want you to give your best. I do want you to do your best. So when you walk off the field, or you walk out of class, or you walk across stage for a diploma, or you do those things, you'd be like, yeah, I got straight C's. That's the best I could do in this program. What else is there? What else is there? I didn't get valedictorian. Well, you went against like 10 of the top kids in the entire country. Did pretty stinking good. Talent alone is great, but grit is better. Digging in is better. Effort counts twice. Effort applied over time equals skill, and skill multiplied by effort equals achievement. Oh, I love that. Okay, we're gonna read again. Effort counts twice. Effort applied to time equals skill. Okay, everybody knows the rules. 10,000 hours, an hour or something. Get started. Effort applied over time equals skill. Skill multiplied by effort equals achievement. Grit involves having a clear goal, practicing deliberately to improve, and maintaining a growth mindset, not a fixed mindset. Talent is not fixed. Okay, so wherever you're at today, you can be better tomorrow. If you want to be better tomorrow, build momentum for being better tomorrow. It is that simple. It can be developed. It can be refined through effort. Grit can be cultivated and strengthened over time. The concept of the hard thing rule encourages pursuing activities that require effort and sticking with them. So that's the premise of the book, right? The premise of the Grit book is this. The hard thing rule. It encourages pursuing activities that require effort and sticking with them. Pick the biggest thing and smash it. All right, we're at our end. We've got just a couple minutes before we close. Got a couple things before we close. Consistency. You want to have consistency. You want to have those things. Those things are hard to do by yourself. If you want to go to the website, you want to go to the members section, the show notes will be there. Everything will be there. I'll get them posted tomorrow. You can follow along. You can do it on your own. Work the steps of the 5-day Momentum Challenge, and you will build momentum in your life for something new. If you're stuck and you're like, hey, I love to do the Discord thing, I love to be a part of the community, join Discord. You can do that. It's free. Nothing in the Discord that's charged for. Okay? Belief Hero is about building community to help you achieve your goals, setting those goals and making them actionable. We have to have actionable goals. Okay? Clubs do not get the job done. Communities built around action, they get the job done. Don't be passive in setting your goals. I would like to do that. If you're saying I would like to do that, then you didn't pick something with a big enough emotional hook. Okay? You can probably see yourself doing it. It isn't quite emotional hook enough to get you to action. You can't get to action without the emotional hook. Without that emotion saying, no, I have to do that. If I don't do that, I won't be fully me, myself. We're going to disconnect self-value from what I'm not going to get. If I don't get that, there's a portion of me I'm going to leave behind. got here with this. I want to go there to be that. And I can't leave that portion here. Does that make sense? You got to have that emotional hook. Momentum is a beautiful thing. Momentum, whether it's finances, whether it's relationships, whether it's marriage, whether it's your business online, whether it's skilling up in your living room at night when everybody's asleep on your computer, I don't know what it is. All of those things can benefit from momentum. And especially if you just look at the momentum challenge, the 5 days we've gone through, and you just look at them alone as tools to making you build self-confidence. Tools in here, the fixed mindset versus a growth mindset, the daily habits, doing the thing first, the bites in the not procrastinating, all of those little things, those are huge for self-confidence. They're huge for self-esteem. They're huge for self-worth. If you just look at the momentum challenge and you go, hey, I could really benefit from that, that alone is worth your time downloading the sheet and walking through. It is worth building momentum for. So I'm going to leave you with that. I think we've had a great night. This has been a lot of fun. So we're standing up for a little more energetic than normal. And normally we don't go through like a whole 5-day challenge. We talk about topic by topic. But this week, we got to stay on momentum. We got to stay in a place where we're like, hey, we're going to get the growth we need. Somebody out there needs this 5-day challenge to get the momentum they need. Somebody is stuck. Somebody needs this challenge. So with that, we're going to peace out. You guys have a great night. Thank you, everyone, for your support. Five-week challenge, or 5-day challenge on momentum. Momentum 5-day challenge. Somebody you know could use this. If you know somebody that's stuck, if you know somebody that could benefit from what we talked about tonight, please share this with them. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting us at The Belief Hero. A lot of fun. What did we do this week? We launched the podcast this week. We had our first interview podcast. I'm super excited. You see that pop up this next week. That's good housekeeping. And Discord is up. The website is up. Membership is up. Man, how awesome is that? That has been super exciting to get all those done. Could not have done it without Chelsea's help. If you're like, man, I want to join the community, go to the website, join Discord. A bunch of that work on Wix is due to Chelsea and her help. She's been awesome. Community member. Definitely a hero. Awesome person all around. Next week, 8 p.m., be back for the Be Bold Hour. We got some good stuff cooking for next week. Make sure you at least come back and ask me how my weekly challenge and momentum is going on getting to Running with Jacob. Make sure you come hold me accountable. I hate to squeak by on that without somebody calling me to task. Podcast should be out next week. We have some amazing guests lined up. Tatiana is coming up. She helps people learn to speak publicly better. We have Marty coming up, who is a business leader that I am very well acquainted with, very successful business leader, and a couple others. Mr. Camera Junkie will be coming up. Guy is awesome, super, super nice guy. Cannot wait to introduce you to him. That is the Be Bold Hour. This is the Be Bold Hour. That's the Hero Hour podcast. And book club is launching soon. So if one of these books stood out to you, make sure you message me. Make sure you get a hold of me and say, hey, I'd really like to do more on that book. We might consider it for our first book for book club. But we're probably going to dive into perfectionism. That's it, guys. We'll see you.